If you walk through the world today, one thing immediately stands out. It's loud. Not just outside, in cities, media, conversations, but also inside us. Our mind is constantly active. We think, plan, compare, judge. Even in moments of quiet, many people immediately reach for their cell phone, turn on music, or distract themselves with something. Why? Because silence sometimes scares us. In silence, it suddenly becomes empty, and it is precisely this emptiness that seems threatening to many, because in silence there is no more distraction, no stories, no roles, no tasks, just you, and that can be challenging. But in this emptiness lies something very valuable, because when you become still, you suddenly hear things that otherwise get lost. You feel yourself. You notice your thoughts, your feelings, your inner tensions. Silence acts like a mirror. It shows you what is really going on inside you. Most people have become used to constantly keeping themselves busy. They rush from task to task, from message to message, and believe that this is normal. But this constant activity is often just avoidance, a running away from what really wants to be felt or seen. But if you dare to step into the silence, you will notice it is not empty. It is full of presence, of awareness, of something that cannot be grasped in words. And the more often you allow yourself to become still, inwardly and outwardly, the more you realize silence is not your enemy. It is your friend. It brings you back to yourself. In the next part, we will look at how you can experience this silent connection practically in everyday life, without meditation or spiritual exercises. How to find silence in everyday life. How to find silence in everyday life, and why it gives you strength. Silence does not have to mean that everything around you is completely quiet. It does not begin on the outside, but within you. You can be still in the midst of noises, people, or movement, because you no longer go along with every stimulus. Inner silence means being aware. It's the ability to observe without getting lost, to breathe instead of reacting on autopilot, to perceive without rushing into judgment. How do you find this state in everyday life? It doesn't require a secluded cabin in the mountains. It only requires your willingness to pause. For example, when you are waiting for the bus, instead of looking at your phone, just stay there. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Notice your breath. Look at what is happening around you, without having to name or judge it. In such moments, silence begins to spread, not as emptiness, but as space. And the more you allow this space, the calmer you become. Not sleepy, but awake, wide awake to the moment. Another example. When you are doing a task, try to do it without rushing and without inner noise. Whether it's washing dishes, emails, or a short walk outside. If you are completely present with what you are doing, without thinking about the next thing, silence automatically arises within you. You will notice things do not change, but your experience becomes deeper. You perceive colors more intensely. You listen more carefully. you feel more alive. And you react differently. When you are quiet inside, you no longer have to jump at every stimulus. You don't have to respond to every criticism with defense. You don't have to fill every gap with words. This silence is not weakness, it is strength. It is the power to be conscious instead of being driven. In the next part, we go one step further. What happens when you not only seek silence, but fully trust it, even in difficult moments? Why silence carries you through difficult moments. Many people believe that they are especially strong when they react quickly, when they always have an answer, when they act immediately. But true strength is often shown in the opposite, in the ability to pause for a moment, to breathe, to be still before acting. Because in difficult moments, our mind tends to get loud. Thoughts race. What should I do? What if everything goes wrong? How do I get out of here? This mental restlessness creates stress, pressure, and often also impulsive decisions that we later regret. But if you allow yourself to become still in such moments, quite consciously, something changes. The situation remains the same, but you are no longer completely identified with it. You are no longer in the middle of the storm, but you are the quiet point in the center. Silence gives you a space between stimulus and reaction, and it is precisely in this space that your freedom lies. You don't have to write back immediately. You don't have to judge immediately. You don't have to act immediately. You can first feel, observe, breathe, and then decide how you really want to react. Maybe you're thinking now, but that's not possible when everything has to go fast. But that's precisely the illusion. In reality, you often lose more time and more energy through automatic reactions than through a conscious moment of silence. In silence, you become aware of your feelings. For example, you feel, "There is anger right now," or "I'm afraid of doing something wrong." And this honest perception alone brings you back to yourself. You stop fighting against yourself. You begin to work with yourself, not against yourself. And silence can remind you that you don't have to solve everything. Not immediately, not perfectly. Sometimes it's enough to just be there, to breathe, and to reconnect with the moment. In the last part, we will summarize everything with a reflection question, a conclusion, and an invitation to give silence more space in your life again. Conclusion, reflection, and invitation to inner silence. Silence is not simply the absence of noise, nor is it just a pause between two thoughts. Silence is an inner state, a quality of your consciousness, and it is always there. You just have to stop letting yourself be dominated by noise and distraction. In this silence, you are completely with yourself. You don't have to pretend anything, achieve anything, explain anything. You can simply be. And that is perhaps the greatest gift. You don't need to add anything to be whole. You don't have to improve or optimize yourself. You can just be there, in the silence, and feel that that is enough. Many people think silence is a waste of time, but the opposite is true. In silence, many things sort themselves out. Thoughts become clearer. Feelings calm down. You feel what is really important, and what was just noise. When you begin to trust silence, you will notice you don't have to have an answer to every question immediately. Not every decision needs to be rushed, and not every problem needs an immediate solution. Often it is enough to be present, awake, still, there. Reflection question for today. When were you last truly silent? Not just outwardly, but within yourself. And what showed itself when you allowed yourself this space? Take small silent moments again and again in the next few days. While walking, while sitting, while waiting, not as a technique, but as a reminder. You can simply be. If you want to find out more about yourself and are looking for ways to go through life more relaxed and positive, subscribe to the channel. That would help you and me. Here, you will regularly find content that will help you to rediscover your own silence in the midst of the loud world, and to discover strength, clarity, and peace within it. Not as theory, but as a lived experience. Thank you for taking the time. Perhaps this very moment was the beginning of a new connection with yourself, with life, with the now.